Irish Dependency, The Life and Death of the Potato by Brian Feeney, Danny Feeney, and Drew Belinsky. The introduction of the potato to Ireland was a catalyst to their economy, a nutritional gain in Irish diets, and a considerable aid to an extraordinary increase in population. However, the significance of the potato in mid-19th century Ireland must be understood as a product of British colonization. The Anglo-Norman invasion of Ireland was a component of an all-purpose expansion of feudal Latin Christendom in the late medieval period. In 1649, a series of uprisings from Irish rebels were annihilated by the triumphant Cromwell. Cromwell waged an intense and vindictive campaign that was successfully completed with the capitulation of Galway in 1652. In the campaign's conclusion, thousands of Irish tenants were forced to relocate from the north to the subsidiary lands of West Ireland. Thus, the density of Irish peasantry was in opposite proportion to the productivity of land. By the mid-19th century, Ireland witnessed an upsurge in population growth. The density in western lands such as Connaught was an astounding 386 people per 1 square mile. Furthermore, the census of 1841 stated that out of a population of 8 million people, 5.5 million were dependent on agriculture. However, production within smaller and less productive plots combined with increasing numbers was physically achievable thanks to the potato. The potato was tolerable regarding greater concentration of population because it required precisely 1/4 the land that wheat or other grains needed for the general maintenance. Due to the relocation, the majority of Irish peasants did not have access to the amount of land or soil required to grow wheat. Therefore, the potato became the crucial staple crop because this particular commodity grew efficiently in the marginal soil of the West, and an acre or less of production could support a peasant family. Prior to the Great Famine, the dominant pattern of community organization and land tenure in the west of Ireland was known as a rundale system. A rundale was a meeting in which members of the peasant community met to distribute and redistribute land. The previously mentioned population growth of the 19th century accelerated the subdivision of rundale holdings and forced the establishment of new rundale communities within a set property base chiefly established by British invasion and colonization. The expansion of the peasant population on top of the displacement of peasants to the west created infinite pressure on the rundale system. Due to the rising rate of subdivision, the ability of peasants to pay rent became threatened. As plots decreased in size, all of the land was increasingly devoted to the cultivation and production of potatoes as a central secure crop. The ever greater dependence on the potato was primarily the result of occupation and political economic reformation of Ireland due to colonialism. Potato dependence was a direct result of the development of an alien plantation economy, which eventually set the stage for the disastrous consequences of the Great Irish Potato Famine.
The potato was the gas that fueled not only the economy, but also the entire country. As previously mentioned, the Irish population had exploded in the first half of the 19th century, reaching nearly 8 million people. The peasants were almost totally dependent on the potato as a source of food because the crop could produce a higher quantity per acre than wheat previously did. The crop was also used as a source of food for the pig, poultry, and sheep of the country. However, when the devastating blight hit Ireland in late 1845, the potato in Ireland would be changed forever. Blight is a plant infection by a pathogenic organism causing the browning and the death of plant tissues. In 1845, blight destroyed a significant portion of the potato crop and continued its wrath until 1846, when the potato crop was completely annihilated. In 1847, very few potato crops were planted due to the fear of another invasion of blight. After taking the year off from harvesting the potato crop, the country was hopeful that 1848 would bring the potato back to the forefront of Ireland. Unfortunately, the luck of the Irish did not come through, and blight came back, leaving the country without a healthy potato crop for 4 years. As a result of the drastic decline in potato production over 4 years, the death toll was over an astounding 1 million, while another million was forced to flee the country in order to survive. This population decline that started as a result of the Great Famine would continue all the way until the 1960s. Agriculture changed dramatically as well, with the share of crops falling from 55.5% before the famine to 36.4% 10 years later and to 12.5% in 1900. Due to the dependence on the potato for more than just human use, the lack of the crop also affected the population of pig, poultry, and sheep, as the peasants needed to eat the little amount of healthy potato themselves rather than feed them to the animals. Once the famine had ran its course in Ireland, the country would settle into a new equilibrium with significant changes in the structure of the economy. The potato would never recover or come close to its pre-famine position. Grain production changed as the country went from being a net exporter to a net importer. Tillage output was down 21.3%, and potato output was down 75%. Seemingly, the only part of the economy that rose was cattle, because the people needed a substitute for potatoes, resulting in animal products increasing by 30.8%.
In conclusion, a boom in potato production in Ireland was a result of peasantry displacement by British colonization. The potatoes provided cheap and efficient crops for the Irish, which effectively ran their flourishing economy. However, this created an Irish dependency on the production of potatoes, which consequently exacerbated their demolition during the Great Potato Famine.